Hello trainers, welcome back to Poke Patrol for the final time in 2019. Or the first time in 2020, depending on how long it takes me to edit this video. It's so crazy to think about how fast the last decade has passed. Like, just 10 years ago, I had just become a teenager, I just started my first YouTube channel, I just started high school, and I was disappointing my family hardcore. And now, here we are, 10 years later, I'm an adult, living on my own, started my second YouTube channel, and I'm still disappointing my family. But, it wasn't a disappointment over the last 10 years. Pokemon. Over the last decade, we saw the introduction of 397 new Pokemon, 48 Mega Evolutions, 18 Alolan forms, 13 Galarian forms, and at the time of recording, 25 Gigantamax forms, which begs the question, what is the best Pokemon released in the past decade? Now, I know what you might be thinking. That's a lot of Pokemon, it's going to be super hard for you to pick just one to be the best Pokemon from the last decade. And actually, it's going to be super easy, barely an inconvenience, because I've consulted with the Council of Pokemon Masters. That's right, the Council of Pokemon Masters. Say hi, guys. We've had so many discussions and debates and fights. There's bloodshed and tears, all for the sake of us trying to figure out what is the best Pokemon from the last decade. But we finally reached a consensus, and we're here to reveal it to you today. Let's hear it, guys, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Abominable. What the f***, guys? Oh. Alright, I'm doing it myself. This is the top 10 Pokemon from the last decade. Before we get started, I want to lay down some ground rules. I'm not going to be including any Gigantamax or Mega Evolutions, basically because they're not really new Pokemon, they're just kind of temporary forms that a Pokemon can hold. If they were like a permanent thing, then yeah, I'd include them, but since they're not, I don't know, personally to me, it shouldn't count. So if you don't see Mega Charizard X or Mega Rayquaza on the list, that is why. If I didn't include them, they'd be on this list. They're amazing Pokemon. And it goes without saying, but I'm going to say it anyway. This is just my opinion. It can vary from your opinion. That's cool. I respect your opinion. Hopefully you respect mine. No one's right or wrong here. It's just opinions. I've said opinion way too many times. Let's jump into the list. At number 10, we have Sylveon. Now, I debated with myself for quite a while about whether I wanted to put Sylveon on this list. I had it on here for a bit, then took it off, then added it back on, then took it off, and finally added it back on because the list just felt weird without it on there. Now, Sylveon hasn't had the biggest impact on the Pokemon world, but it does have some very interesting features. Generation 6 saw the introduction of the Fairy type, which is the first time a new type has been introduced in Pokemon since, I want to say, Generation 2? And Sylveon was one of the first Pokemon to receive this new typing, which is super cool and earns it some cool points in my book. Also, not only is Sylveon a member of the Eevee family, it has been voted multiple times as the most popular evolution, which I can see why. It has a really cool design, so I think that earns it a spot on this list. Number 9 is a 3 for 1 because I didn't want to dedicate 3 spots on this list to these Pokemon because they're very similar. It is the Tau Trio, Zekrom, Reshiram, and Kyurem. Now bear with me for a second because I'm about to sound like a Gen 1er, but I feel like legendary Pokemon aren't what they used to be. Or at least they weren't for a little while. We may be getting back into a better understanding of what legendary Pokemon should be, but that's a topic for another time. Between generations 4 and 5, we saw the introduction of like 20 new legendary Pokemon, all which were like exceedingly worse than the last. And it just felt like the word legendary lost its meaning because there's so many of them. But I just felt like these 3 were the only exceptions, the only ones that actually felt legendary. They were cool dragons, they had awesome typings, there was the whole splicing mechanic of making like Kyurem Black and Kyurem White, which I feel like should return in some way or another. Like we should see more Pokemon splices. Why hasn't that been a thing? But like these guys just stood out amongst all the bad legendaries that we got in that time frame. So yeah, they deserve a spot on this list in my opinion. At number 8, we have Incineroar. Now, personally, I'm a Rowlet boy myself, but I can't deny that Incineroar has had a huge impact on the Pokemon world. I mean, on top of Incineroar having the coolest design of all the Generation 7 starters, and the coolest typing in my opinion of Fire and Dark, he has been in Smash Bros. Ash used one to win his first championship in the anime after 20-some years. And also, on top of all of that, Incineroar's name translates to ejaculation salt. You can't deny the facts. He belongs on this list. At number 7, we have Wooloo, who, by God, is one of the cutest Pokemon I've ever seen in my life. I think everyone's hearts collectively melted when we saw Wooloo for the first time. I've never seen so much fan art of a Pokemon come out so quickly, as well as other types of art, which we won't talk about on this PG family-friendly show. So much though, so many sheep titties. Wooloo is so adorable that I just can't not put him on this list. And that's so hard for me to admit because Ampharos and Mareep are two of my favorite Pokemon. And I know it's because of Wooloo, that little round bastard, that they're not in Sword and Shield. I'm still so angry about that. But like, I can't be angry at Wooloo because he's so cute. And he's just actually pretty decent in like battles. Like he's bulky, and he's just like, he's shiny. Oh my god, he's shiny. One of the best shinies we've ever seen. It's the black sheep. It's so clean and crisp and beautiful. So that is why Wooloo, the second most adorable Generation 8 Pokemon, is on this list. And you're probably thinking to yourself, second most adorable, then who's the first most? Well, at number 6 we have Snom, and this is for all the same reasons as Wooloo, except for like the sheep titty part. That doesn't apply to Snom. Are there lewd drawings of Snom? Are there lewd drawings of Snom? Oh my god. Oh my god, there are. You looted Snom. How do you loot Snom? Snom is just as, if not more adorable than Wooloo. The only difference is we never saw him coming. Wooloo was announced way before the games actually came out, and then Snom just kind of pounced on all of us mid-game, and our hearts collectively fell in love with him. Snom is just awesome. His shiny isn't as cool as Wooloo's, of course, but to be fair, most Pokemon shinies aren't as cool as Wooloo's. Frostmoth, also a cool Pokemon, pun not intended because it's an ice type. Not as cool as I'd hoped it would be. It's no Volcarona, but you know what? I'm still glad it exists. So Snom and Frostmoth, great Pokemon, glad they were invented. So good job, Game Freak. Number 5 is another 3 for 1. It is the Galarian starters. It has felt weird having one of them on the list. So I decided, you know what, they've all had a huge impact on the Pokemon community. It makes sense to group them all together. They have their pros and their cons, but I feel like together they're all a very strong set of starters. Sure, the shinies may not be great, and sure, a lot of their evolutions aren't great, but I feel like in terms of base, like first stages, these are some of the best starters we've had ever. Sobble has a great personality, Grookey is adorable, Scorbunny exists. I'm just kidding. Scorbunny is actually like amazing in the anime right now. If you haven't been watching it, he has so much personality. It's adorable. I love it. They've done such a great job with these starters, and I'm just happy. Like, they could have gone way worse. I feel like we had way worse starters in the past, and even though stuff has gone wrong with these guys, like their evolutions and some of their shinies, overall great starters, and I'm glad to have the chance to play with them. At number 4 we have Corviknight. I feel like this bird is a stolen the show for so many people. Look, just look at it. It's a cool metal night bird. There's no reason the regional bird for an area should look this good. Like, when you compare this thing to like Unpheasant, it's not even close. Like, Corviknight could pass as a legendary Pokemon almost. Like, it just looks so good. Also, the fact that it's like 8 feet tall, that's crazy. And since we're talking about shinies, shiny Corviknight was actually the first shiny that I got in Generation 8. It wasn't even like me hunting for it. This happened randomly throughout my first playthrough. So I'm grateful for that. It has a great shiny, still not as good as Wooloo's, but still probably one of the better ones in Generation 8. Yeah, the whole evolution line is great. Rookity, Corvisquire, they're all great Pokemon. Probably one of the best evolution lines we've had in a long time. To summarize, I'm just thankful for this big burb. At number 3, we have Ultra Necrozma, and it's here for one reason and one reason only. It is a badass. Ultra Necrozma acts as the one thing that we were missing in Pokemon games for a long time. A challenge. There are compilations of people failing this fight, getting absolutely destroyed on YouTube. And I think that's great. I think it's great when people fail. Just kidding. I think it's good to have like a challenge in Pokemon games because for such a long time, they've just been like a breeze. Other than like maybe Cynthia's battle in the Elite Four and Generation 4, like they've been pretty easy. I just think that's what Pokemon needed is the introduction of big bosses, and they kind of have continued that with Eternatus in Generation 8. So hats off to Ultra Necrozma. Also, he looks really cool. He's a really cool design Pokemon, so you know what? I can't not have him on this list. He's made such a huge impact on the future of Pokemon. Hopefully they keep doing it. It'll be a dumb choice in my opinion if they don't, but we'll see what happens. At number 2, we have Mimikyu, and let's be honest, who didn't see this one coming? Mimikyu is amazing. It's honestly like almost a perfect Pokemon. It has a cool design. It's an amazing shiny. It has a crazy typing of like Ghost Fairy, which is pretty strong. Also, one of the saddest backstories of all time of any Pokemon. Like, it's hatred for Pikachu because trying to be Pikachu, trying to be something people love, even though it felt hated. It's crazy. I love this Pokemon so much. I really don't have much to say about Mimikyu because it's already been said before by thousands of people because it's beloved by so many people. There is no doubt in my mind that Mimikyu belongs on this list. However, I do think there's one Pokemon that is more deserving of the title of greatest Pokemon of the last decade, and that is Greninja. I feel like a lot of people saw this coming. Once they saw Mimikyu at number 2, they probably could put 2 and 2 together what number 1 was going to be. But like, it's so hard to not have Greninja at number 1. This is, once again, he was in Smash. He was such a huge part in the anime, like Ash Greninja. I never watched that season of the anime, so I'm not sure how that happened. Like, did Ash and Greninja have a baby? In PvP, he's great with Protein. His Shiny, I know I've like gone off about how great Wooloo Shiny is. Greninja has like the best Shiny of all time. It looks so good. This the black ninja aesthetic with his stupid long tongue. I love it. I wouldn't even say Greninja is one of my favorite Pokemon, but I just can't deny like how big of an impact that Greninja's had on Pokemon in general. And if you don't want to take my word for it, Greninja was voted as the most popular Pokemon in Japan over Pikachu, Charizard, Mewtwo, Arceus. All of them were below Greninja. So before we finish up, I just want to throw out some honorable mentions that I had on this list at some point, but took them off. Sirfetch'd, Golisopod, Scolipede, Rowlet, Toxtricity, the whole Applin line, and Type Null. They were all on this list at one point, but like I just couldn't put them on here in good faith without taking one of the other Pokemon off. But they're close. They're like in the top 15. So there we have it, folks. That is my list of the top 10 Pokemon that have come out in the past decade. Let me know if you want to see a video where I do the top 10 worst Pokemon in the last decade, because I feel like that could be a fun one. Also, let me know what your number 1 Pokemon from the last decade was. I'm interested to see how many Greninjas and Mimikyus we get. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It is the best way to help this channel grow, and it's always greatly appreciated. Also, if you have the time, consider checking out my social medias, my Twitter, my Twitch, my Facebook, and my Discord. All the links are down in the description below. That's going to do it for me for this video, and this decade. Thank you again so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Goodbye, trainers.